Hello, my little goblins. We're back at it again, and no VTuber. I know you guys were excited about that the last video I did. I know I got raving reviews for that. That was just a one-time thing I was trolling on, but we're going to be playing Armed Dragon. And when I say Armed Dragon, it's pretty much going to be level 7 spam. But we're using the Armed Dragon engine. We're actually using a lot of Armed Dragon cards. We use 3, 6, 9, 12. 14, so like almost half the deck, and then we're running the Dragon Rulers too, and we run some Dragon Ruler cards, and we run the Cashier cards. And the whole point of this is to go into Galaxy Tomahawk, which we go into Auroradon, which actually you can go Galaxy Tomahawk, and if you open good, you can go Appaloosa first, and then Tomahawk. But yeah, I mean, essentially that's the plan. You set up multiple negates, you set up Colossus, and Colossus is pretty good in this meta. I'm gonna say that right now. Colossus is pretty gnarly in this meta. Problems with the deck are just overarching, just seeing right in front of us. Trying to make everything into 40 cards. Maybe we can up it, but like we put evenly matched at 2. If you end up finding yourself going second a lot, maybe you up this to 3 with like some Dark Rulers and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, because I'm gonna say this right now, this deck, I want to say it has a problem OTKing, and the only reason why is because if you have to use Pile Armed Dragon's effect, this card prevents you from attacking with more than one monster a turn. So you do want this card. Like, this card activates a lot of stuff for you, so a lot of times you do want to activate it. So sometimes it makes OTKing hard. But if you don't have to activate this fact, the deck's OTK is super easy. But let's go into some games, and then we'll talk more about the deck and recap and what I think about it, alright? Hello, my little goblins. We're here with game number 1, and our hand is pretty okay. Actually, our hand's actually kind of bad. So the reason I wanted to show this game is because we do get interrupted multiple times. So first we're going to use Unicorn. Unicorn gets negated by Effect Veiler. We go into Armed Dragon Flash. Now, if we do not hit off of this card, like the draw card, we pretty much, our turn pretty much ends here. Like, we don't really do much else. So, but fortunate, off the draw 1, we do hit a dragon, so GG. And boom. We're going to use Pile Armed Dragon's effect to send. This lets us grab Tempest. And now we're going to go into Draco Sack. So, that's another reason I wanted to show the deck. Draco Sack is a great card for the deck. If you open the 1 of O-Lion, you can go Draco Sack, and that pretty much gives you the tokens you would have, that you would normally have for Auroradon. The only issue with this is you need to make sure you're going into some type of Link monster, because you're not going to really be able to get an efficient Borload Savage otherwise, right? So we're gonna do this. There goes the Cell Synchron. We're gonna do the plays. Boom, boom. Jet Synchron. There we go, Cupid. And our opponent has Imperm, so we get Effect Veiler in Imperm. I do not know why our opponent did not Imperm this. Maybe they were waiting for Auroradon this entire time, and then they realized we don't need Auroradon. So I think that's kind of what's happening here. So he ends up imperming this. I use my Tempest to bring this back. I realize I actually don't even need this, because what I end up doing anyway is I'm like, you know what? How about we just go Auroradon? So I go Auroradon, and it just lets me set up a Baron. And then this lets me set up Nemesis Corridor, which lets me get Thunder Dragon Colossus. Which, if you guys don't know, Thunder Dragon Colossus is very annoying. It hurts a lot of the top decks. Not being able to search is a very annoying ability to have tacked on a card. And we have Imperm, and we have Omni Negate. So it's not the end of the world, but... And he just scoops it up because, you know, when you use two hand traps and the hand traps don't stop everything, pretty much you just hand ripped yourself twice. Hello, we're here with game number 2 against Hero King, and our hand is looking playable. because we have the Dragon Ruler card in our hand. So if we send that with a card, we get to do that, and then this card lets us add another card. Honestly, this card's negligent. You can add anything to your hand at this point, because we're not really going to use the effect. And here we're just going to do pretty much very basic Aurodon plays. Boom, boom. And I promise the whole video isn't just doing this. I would say a decent chunk of it. This is just showing you how to do the combo with the deck. For people that don't know. So Baron de Fleur. I mean, the deck plays very linearly in the sense of like, you're trying to do one thing. No matter how you get there, it really doesn't matter. Now we're gonna do this. We're gonna go Diablos. We're gonna see what our opponent's playing, and we're gonna snipe one of the Albions. And here's Nemesis Corridor. And we go into Thunderdragon. So our opponent is playing Braided Fusion. So there's that. I'm gonna max see them because I know they're playing Brandon. He call buys. I'm gonna negate Barlord Savage. I get Super Poly. So he's gonna get rid of Thunderdragon Colossus because Thunderdragon Colossus pretty much shuts down him being able to add anything to hand. So there's no Aliber or anything he can do. He goes Draxipelios, which is really annoying. Foolish Burial is going to send Tragedy. I'm going to call by the Tragedy because if I don't, I'm going to have my own type of Tragedy at the house. So that's going to prevent him from adding Aliber. And he just sets and passes. And that, once he passes the turn, the game is over. I have my negate up, and I still have this negate, so it's super EGG. We're going to pop the back row. He's going to activate your Expelia. Now, I got a little greedy here. Realistically, you probably should use the Barlord Savage. But I wanted to make sure this card died. I wanted to pop it. And the only reason I'm saying this is because this ends up being another Super Poly. So now he Super Polys this, and I wasted my Baron negate. But with all the things that are happening, I'm pretty sure the game's just over. It's all of a matter of fact just finding the lethal. So here comes Unicorn, here comes Dragon Ruler, and here comes the Pile Driver, and he is going to just take a massive beating, and it's over for him. So, GG. Hello, we are here with game number 3, and our hand is looking pretty good, especially going second. Evenly matched, definitely really good. Call by is really good. Like, our hand's looking stellar. The Cashier card is also very good. Interruption on Unicorn is kind of annoying, but we'll see what ends up happening. He sets his card. He's going to try and Kuklock me, like Eradicator, because he knows I'm in battle already, so he knows I'm going to evenly. So, this makes sense. I hit him. I evenly the board here. Everything's gone. For him to save this trap tells me that this guy has, like, something crazy. So I'm like, or it's like welcome or something. So I'm like, he plays Imper, which is like, really? That's kind of like what was going on in my head. Like, if I knew this was Imperm, if I had any thought that this was an Imperm, I probably would have Fenrir'd, because I need the Wind Monster in my hand. And Fenrir is a fucking Earth, because when I send this to the graveyard, I could search Armed Dragon, and then I would have 2 level 7s that I could full combo him. But it makes it a little more, it makes it a little tougher here. And then he ashes me. It's like, oh my goodness. So I guess it didn't really matter too much at the end, but still getting the Armed Dragon in hand still would have been definitely way better getting the Pile Dragon, because I could have sent the level 1, or I could have sent him to the graveyard. Like, if I sent this card to the graveyard with his effect, I would have been able to send Tempest to the graveyard, and then Tempest would have been able to let me do full combo. But right now he has a Chandelier. So I feel like I get a little sacked here. Like, I know I evenly him, which is obviously good for me, but like, this guy kind of had everything too on top of it. But then I top deck Ash, so the world's right. Everything's right with the world. But I'm gonna be honest here. I know I'm gonna Ash him, but even with ashing him, I'm pretty sure I just win this, no matter what, even if this resolves. But We're gonna send this. We can't OTK him because we did this play. Remember what I said? Pile on dragon. If you do this, you can't OTK. This is the reason why. Honestly, I don't know why my opponent's sitting through all this, because he's just gonna lose. He's waiting for me to put up a negate, which is like not really understandable, to be honest, because I'm playing a Rodon. Like, I'm gonna put one negate, so he ends up scooping on Baron. It's like, why would you sit through all that? Here we are with game number 4, and this is actually gonna be the last one, just because like these games are very linear. I'll talk more about it in the recap. But they pretty much, a lot of these games play the same. You want to find a way into a Auroradon, and then after finding a way into a Auroradon, you want to make sure you bait out all his hand traps first, and then you kind of just, you poop on the board, you poop all your cards on the board. So, I mean, there's really not much to say about this. We go Galaxy Tomahawk. Our hand is good enough where we're going to be able to go Apollosa, so you guys get to see what that looks like. So, IP Masquerena, and then make sure you do not use the 3 tokens here, because you need to make sure you go into Apollosa here, to Auroradon. So now we make a 3-mana Apo. The only negative about this play is we normally cannot go into... this play prevents us from going into Brawl. So that's the only bad thing about this play. But 3 monster negates is probably better than 1 Omni negate. That's how I look at it. It could not be, but like I think for the most part it is. So, very powerful board. We end on 3 monster negates, Omni negate, and can't search anything. This, unfortunately, can't do anything with it because we used all the tokens to go into the Apollosa. There probably was a way where we didn't use all the tokens. That would, like, be if I played the Draco back here. So the reason I usually never do that is because I don't have the correct cards to go into the Apo line, so usually I place it here. But yeah, since I had the correct cards, if I placed the Tomahawk here, it would give me 5 tokens. I could have used 2 tokens to go into the IP, or I could have used these 2. I could have used 2 cards to go into IP, and then I still think I would have had a hard time actually. I don't think I would have had enough board space. I guess it would have been a 2-mat Apo. I would have to go like Unicorn. I would have to go into Unicorn and then Apo, but then I would have a Baron, which seems better. Yeah, I guess it's a little negligible, but I still think we could have gone into that. Maybe I could somehow squeeze the extra deck and find a way of making it a little more consistent. I had to put Underworld's Goddess in here because I didn't have that many good outs to unaffected monsters. So we get Kaiju, and our opponent's just playing. I just wanted to show this end board. That's primarily what I wanted to do, and they just scoops. Nothing too interesting. I just wanted to show the end board. Hello, welcome to the recap. If you guys enjoyed that, I really appreciate it if you guys sub to the channel. It really helps out a bunch. Also, if you guys enjoy the Discord, that'd be great. The Discord, we host tournaments every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, so look out for that. This week we have pretty much anything. Just Master Duel, like there's no extra restrictions. Just play whatever deck you want, as long as it's not banned, obviously, like the cards aren't banned. So it should be pretty fun. So yeah, other than that, how did the deck perform? The deck performed okay. So like so when I was streaming this, the first half of me playing this, I would say I was getting sacked extremely hard. I lost a decent amount of games. Like I was struggling getting out of Master 5 at first. Because I was just losing every coin flip, and when I did win coin flips, I was just getting like hard sacked. Like they max see me when I have no Ash, or they multiple hand trap me, I do nothing, and then when I max see them, they have Ash. So which is pretty unfortunate. Which is you can't do anything about, but like losing that many coin flips definitely sucked. Once I started winning coin flips, like every game we went first, like felt like we were gonna win. I probably had like when we started winning coin flips, our win rate went from being like 40% to like 80%. Like, we're winning most of our games. Because, like, bare minimum, we can play through a bunch of stuff and we could usually end on, like, 2 negates or a negate with Colossus or something like that, which is, like, usually good enough to win the match. Especially when they use, like, 2-3 hand traps, you know? Anything I would say, like, something I would say is maybe, like I said in the beginning of the video, upping evenly and putting Dark Rulers in, like Dark Ruler No Mores. Just because, like, okay, because Dark Ruler No More, normally you don't like this card because, like, when you're trying to OTK your opponent, it's like, this card doesn't allow you to, but, like, when you're playing Pile Armed Dragon, sometimes it's hard to OTK them anyway. So, what this card will, like, this will, like, turn off your opponent's entire board. It lets you have an opportunity to out his board with your board. And then, afterwards, I mean, he's stuck with no cards on the field, and you have full board. So, I think Dark Ruler definitely, like, if you wanted to, like, maybe go like this, go with the 43 or 44. That's if you're getting sacked a lot, you're just losing all your coin flips. That's the only reason why I would say to do that. But other than that, I think the ratios were fine. I never had any, like, it was very rare where I bricked. And if I did brick, it would be like I opened, like, all my one-ups. Like, I opened, like, Jet Synchron, Mecha, and double thing and hand trap or something. Like, it's pretty bad brick. But you guys seen, like, even if you open O-Line in hand, Draco Sack lets you just play through it, which is pretty nice. So yeah. Do I think the deck is worth crafting? Well, if you have majority of the cards, like, I didn't really have to craft anything for the deck. The only thing I crafted for the deck, I think, was Tempest, and I didn't mind it because Tempest is a really good card. And then Draco Sack, which I didn't mind because, again, Draco Sack's a really good card that's played in another deck. So, I didn't really mind crafting these cards. But the actual engine, like the Armed Dragon engine, is pretty cheap. Like, they're all super rares. So that's not too bad. And, or super rares, rares, and commons. Obviously the cash tier cards will be expensive, but I feel like everyone should have the cash cards, or they should at least try going for them. Yeah, and then, like, all these cards are super generic, like Colossus, Warlord Savage. If you ever played a Auroradon strategy, you should have all these cards. So really, you shouldn't be too bad. I don't think the deck is really that expensive unless you're, like, building, like, from scratch. Even then, this deck is not as expensive as some other decks in the format. So, pretty solid deck. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this deck, like, a solid 7.5. I think it's good. I think it might be an 8. No, it's probably 7.5. 7.5 is a fair score. Because you're using Armed Dragon, which is a little, like, niche, you know what I mean? It has its disadvantages with discarding and stuff like that. So, I mean, you get drolled, you're kind of super fucked. That definitely does not feel good. Yeah, so I would say it's probably, like, 7.5. It can play through a lot of stuff, but, like, it's not, like, playing through more than, like, it plays it through a good amount of hand traps, but it's not playing through, like, everything. Plus, they don't go into an early negate, so, like, if Nibiru gets more popular, this deck gets sacked super hard by Nib. The only way it wouldn't is if you Kashtira summon, normal summon, like, if you Kashtira, like, Unicorn, activate Unicorn effect to get Birth, summon Birth, like, play Birth, then normal summon, like, Ash to go into, like, Baron. That's the only way this does not get super sacked. Other than that, I mean, you're getting sacked hard by Nibiru. But I didn't run into any Nibirus, so I was probably lucky. Tier scaling is obviously Rogue tier. I mean, there's no way this deck would be over than Rogue tier. It'll throw people off guard. And a lot of times they won't know what to negate, especially with, like, Pile Armed Dragon. Like, this card sends for cost, so, like, even if they try and negate it, I think it sends for cost. You can send one Armed Dragon from your hand or pile, then, yeah, I think this is sends for cost. So, it's really annoying. Yeah, it has a lot of annoying things in the deck. This card, the search on this throws people off. I don't think people realize that this search is really good because it gets you into Tempest, which is free special summon. So also to make sure that you can only use one effect of the Dragon Ruler cards per turn. Just make sure you know that. So like if you want to special summon this and you use the search effect on this, you can't special summon. So I do like to get them in rotation though. Like if you're able to get like multiple of these in the graveyard, like this and this in the graveyard, it gives you good recursion for the next turn. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let me know down in the comments what you want to see next. I'm really hoping ninjas come out relatively soon. I've been waiting for them for a while. And I have some things planned, but if you guys give me some ideas, that would help. So, alright, goodbye.